You're listening to Infinite TBR, the podcast where we try not to buy more books. I'm Smack.
And I'm Gabi. Spoiler alert! We're going to avoid major spoilers, and when we can, warn when we're going to discuss a particular book in detail so you can avoid that part of the episode. You can also check the show notes for time-stamped flags identifying potential spoilers.
So, it is the most wonderful time of the year.
Post Mysterious Galaxy Summer Bingo.
Quite a bit post at this
yes,
point.
Yes, it is quite, yes.
But that's okay.
Time has no meaning. I don't know what month it is anymore. I don't know what day it is anymore. This could be 2024 for all I know.
I don't think I'm ready for 2024.
I was going to say 2023, but then I was like...
It is actually almost 2023.
I wouldn't know if it is 2023. Yep. So let's go a year further.
Just lose a year in there somewhere.
I think I already have.
But that means it is time for our annual Mysterious Galaxy Summer Bingo.
Annual.
The second annual. Annual in the sense that we've done it twice.
Yep.
Throwdown, Showdown, 1-on-1 PvP. I don't know if we came up with a final name.
We did not, but I'm pretty sure you sort of rambled through all those words the last time we did
so
this.
Too. Possibly in that exact same order.
I actually wouldn't be surprised. Anyway.
So
we wrote down every title that we read for the Mysterious Galaxy Summer Bingo.
24 each.
24 because there was a free spot. Mm-hmm. So we wrote down the title and the author. We put them on little scraps of paper and swapped piles.
Yes.
So I will be pulling titles of books that Gabi read for Bingo. And Gabi will be pulling titles that I read for Bingo. And then
we're going to fight!
You definitely said it in that exact same tone. So if we get a little repetitive...
That's why it's the annual.
Yes.
We're just gonna do the same thing every year. The only thing that will change are the titles. Maybe.
And I'm definitely gonna win again.
No.
So.
Absolutely. It's my turn.
Is it?
We'll see.
I say that, but there are some titles that I'm like, you can just have.
Right, yeah, as we were like writing these down, there were definitely some where I was like, I'm gonna win this one. I will fight for this one. She's gonna win this one. She's gonna win this one.
And I do want to point out that last year, well, both years, when you do Blackout Bingo for Mysterious Galaxy, you are entered into a raffle. Mm-hmm. And you get extra entries if the titles you read for Bingo you purchased during the bingo reading season.
Right.
Season. I don't know. Period. Time period. Summer. There we go. So last year I did like 8 and I was very excited about my odds until it turned out somebody read.
Right, that's a lot of books to buy.
24 titles. They just bought them.
Oh.
I have no idea who it was. They won.
Yep.
So this year I decided I wasn't going to buy any titles.
Did you end up not buying any?
I didn't buy a single title. Well, for Bingo. I did buy books over the summer.
But you didn't count them toward Bingo.
Yes, and I only read books for Bingo that I have owned for a while.
Okay. So you didn't get to check off that box for any of them, even if...
Right. So I only got one raffle entry.
Right.
I think the only...
Oh.
Yeah.
For some reason...
Did you not understand that earlier?
No, I did. In my head, for just today, now as we were talking... I was like, surely we got a bingo slot. I was thinking a bingo slot or a lottery slot for every square, and then additional for. But no, it's one for achieving blackout, which we both did, and then additional single entries for every book you buy that's on that list.
Yes,
from Mysterious Galaxy during the bingo time frame. Okay. Which I knew before tonight. It's
been a while.
It's been a while. I did actually end up buying some of them. I don't remember which ones I actually ended up buying in the zone, because I definitely bought some of them either incidentally or on purpose. And I did try and wait until the end until I knew which ones that I loved enough to get
to own. Yeah.
And then I remember the last week, I don't remember why. I feel like we had maybe gone to go spend money somewhere else, possibly also on books. And I was like, I shouldn't buy any more books. So I didn't, and then I think like fully a month later, I did actually go back, and I was like, no, I'm gonna go ahead and get these because I did still love them, and I do actually want to get them, but I don't remember how the timing on that worked out. But anyway, I did get some additional raffle entries, but neither of us won.
So it's
So
probably
we'll
what
have
I
to
should
keep
have
trying.
prefaced that with.
This episode would have started a lot more exciting. Either of us.
Probably would have happened a lot earlier, too.
Yes.
Closer to the end.
One of us is
bingo.
definitely gonna win this throwdown
That's true.
unless we tie.
You say one of us, but I will win again.
No.
I am
One
the
day we should
reigning
do-
champion. I have not
That
been the
doesn't
reigning
give
champion
you-
of anything since like summer reading in elementary school, where you get like
Oh, like at Pizza
Hut?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I missed that. That was a
God, that was
good
amazing.
program. Some
I-
shiny stickers
shiny stickers and pizza.
and pizza.
Amazing.
One year we do this, we should have stakes. We should have a prize. Like one of us has to get the
I
other.
thought you meant like steaks that you eat, and I was like, I don't eat red meat.
Winner gets a steak
Yuck.
prepared by a
Well, sorry.
Amazing. Okay. Last year, this did end up going into 2 episodes, so we're going to get halfway and then find out what time it is.
Yes. And also, a number of these titles we've talked about in previous episodes. So, like, we're going to skim through those.
Mm-hmm.
Probably also skim through the ones that we don't really feel like fighting over.
Sure.
But, so, yeah, probably 2 episodes.
Any that are worth describing to
Yes.
listeners, we will, of course.
We're just advocating for.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, ready?
1, 2, 3, go.
Here we go.
This one.
Spell on Wheels, Volume 1. Leth.
Hardly Haunted by Jessie Sima.
Aww.
I'll fight you on this one. We've talked about Spell on Wheels in the past.
Yeah, Hardly Haunted is a children's book. Jessie Sima is the one who wrote Not Quite Narwhal and Perfectly Pegasus.
Oh, those are
They're
sweet.
so cute. And they wrote this Hardly Haunted, which is this precious story about I don't know if anthropomorphic is the right word, but a haunted house. Personified? It has
Sentient?
thoughts. A sentient haunted house. That's like telling the story.
That is
basically.
not horror.
Correct. The haunted house
A sentient haunted house could have a couple of different ways it plays out.
in this particular case, it just wants a family.
That's so sweet.
I know.
Spell on
it's-
Wheels still wins, though.
I think
It's very sweet.
I think I will give it to you only because there's more to Spell on Wheels. Like there's more of a, like there's
It
a
has
full
some
story.
substance.
Hardly Haunted was freaking adorable, and there was a cat jumping around, of course.
Bonus point.
As the haunted house was like selling itself, and it's like
I might actually have to read this.
it's
That's adorable.
really cute. And then at the end, it finds like a family of ghosts to move in.
Of ghosts.
Yeah.
Wait, isn't it already haunted?
Well, like that's what I mean. Like the house is aware and wants a family to live in it, but like normal live humans are too scared to live in it. And then eventually a family of ghosts is like, this is the perfect house for us. We don't mind the wind that blows through and makes the house all creaky and waily and stuff. And then the house gets a family and the family gets a house.
And then it's a haunted house. Okay.
And then it's like a haunted house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You know. Okay, so you're... Okay, losers. Winners.
Okay. All right. That's fine, because we use different pens colors. We'll just count them out at the end.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Okay. Look at us.
Planning
planned
ahead?
that.
Sort
Okay.
of. Okay. Oh. The Widow of Rose House by Diana Biller.
Help! My launch plan sucks!
Okay, I want to preface this with, like, I read quite a number of non-fictional self-publishing books this summer because, surprise, I'm gonna self-publish stuff.
Yay!
And maybe we'll do a different episode on the economics of publishing. That would be actually really exciting.
That's definitely on our to-do list.
Anyway, The Widow of Rose House, we've both read it, we've both talked about it, and we both really liked it.
Love it so much.
Gabi went out and bought her own copy.
Oh, yeah.
That's how much she loved it.
Because there was a freaking tiny, adorable, like, travel-sized copy of Barnes & Noble for, like, $9. And I was like...
It's a weird
It fits
size.
in my pocket.
I wrote down the dimensions. 7 inches by 4.5 inches. It was the weirdest little, it's like not a mass market paperback, but a trade paperback, except smaller.
Yeah.
Like, itsy bitsy adorable.
I wish all paperbacks came that size.
I think it was some kind of like Barnes & Noble special.
I'm sure.
Anyway, Help My Lunch Plan Sucked is...
By Mal and Jill Cooper.
Yes, and that was actually the entry for my LGBTQ authors, because they are known as the writing wives. Which felt like cheating, but...
Why?
Because it was nonfiction, probably. It was good. It was helpful. It was not The Widow of Rose House.
Loser.
We're tied. Come on.
Don't keep track. It's supposed to be a surprise.
Okay. Okay. The Last Dragon Slayer by Jasper Ford. With 2 or 3 F's.
An Uncommon Charm by
I
Emily
win!
Bergstein.
Yes.
And Kat
Weaver.
Kat
Bergstein
Weaver.
and Weaver.
Emily
Another pair of-
Bergstein and Kat Weaver.
Another pair of writing wives.
Oh, so cute. So tell me about Uncommon Charm.
Uncommon Charm it's sort of hard to define.
Is this the one on my snack shelf that has like the pretty cover?
The blue?
Yeah, but that lots of things
Yes,
are blue.
it's
but...
pretty, and the font is sparkly.
What?
It's like gold foil-ish. Don't give me that look. I gave it to you. It was also the best book of the month for my newsletter at one point.
Oh, yes.
And so this is one of the Neon Hemlock novellas. Neon Hemlock is a really small press that does dark queer novellas and short stories. And Uncommon Charm is what they call a champagne gothic, because it takes place in the 1920s, in the roaring 20s, except there's magic. And the main character is like upper crust aristocracy. Her mother is like the prime magician of the empire or something. She worked for the military during World War I, so it's the interwar period.
Okay.
And this girl is so delightful. She is like the center, the sun around which everyone else revolves when you're in a room with someone. And she's so smart, and she just got expelled because of reasons.
Okay.
So she's home with her crazy smart, sort of antisocial mother and her mother's newest student named Simon. I should look up her name. Julie, I believe is her name.
Julia.
Oh yeah, Julia and Simon. So they become best buds, and it's...
Your reviews just says perfection in all caps.
It was so good. I read it twice.
Ooh.
And I made it the best book of the month, one of those months, on my newsletter. Because it's just such a lovely... It's a story that doesn't have, like, a clear plot. But it's about this girl, Julia, who is sort of leaving behind childhood, surrounded by her friend Simon and her mother, who are both super supportive and waiting for her to come to them for questions or help or just emotional support.
Aww.
And there's this neighboring family where her mother almost married the dad, and he's been like sort of pining for her, but not really. Because he's very happy in his marriage. They have like 6 kids, and Julia is not best friends. She's really good friends with all of them. They're part of the family. But there's some dark secrets. And it's,
Dun, dun, dun.
it's the kind of dark secrets that adults know but don't talk about. And so to leave childhood and find out that the people you look up to and the people you love know these things, and it's just part of their everyday life knowing these things, and learning a new aspect to the adults around you in learning how they respond to this darkness in their lives. So like it is gothic.
Right.
But there are parties. Julia is just vivacious, and she's just such a goddamn delight. And Simon is so nice, and I just love them, and it was, I win. I'm taking this round.
Okay, that's fair. The Last Dragon Slayer by Jasper Fforde. People might be more familiar with Jasper Fforde. He wrote The Air Affair, which is the first of the Thursday Next.
Air like Jane Eyre?
That's how it's spelled. I think they're like time travel literature mysteries, I think. Time travel, cloning. Literature is taken very, very seriously. Oh, there are people just like fighting about classic literature. So this has been on my TBR forever, the Air Affair, sorry.
Oh, so this is the one you didn't read.
This is the one I didn't read, but
that's the one he's known for.
Yeah.
Okay. So what about the
Thursday Next is a literary detective who goes inside books from her futuristic time travel world. That's the Thursday Next series. Heard very good things about this. The Last Dragon Slayer we read for the book club I have with our number one fan, Laura. And
assorted other friends.
And assorted other high school friends. And The Last Dragon Slayer is a middle grade about a 15-year-old orphan named Jennifer who, and we talked about this during our book club, about this aspect that I think he meant as this parody on this trope in the fantasy genre where the main characters are often like orphans and then are thrown into situations that are extremely unrealistic. So in this world, she basically she administers sorcerers in this world where magic is very highly, it's a very bureaucratic system. So every time anyone casts a spell, they have to like file all this paperwork. And so that's kind of she's filling in for the actual like head administrator person who has disappeared. Oh. So she's administering everyone. It's a very quirky world. Like they live in like the ununited kingdoms. Jasper Fforde must be a Brit the way it's written. Right. A lot of British humor in there. And there are these designated plots of land called the Dragonlands where each park has these like acres and acres of land that people cannot access, have dragons in them, and we're down to the last dragon. And there's this position called the Last Dragon Slayer,
like a bureaucratic position,
it's like a chosen one type of situation. So and it gets passed on, but I mean that happens like halfway through the book or whatever. It's the whole thing. And I don't remember, this was long ago. We're reading the third one now. So the first one was long enough ago that I don't quite remember the details, but that's the overall
It was good enough that you've
frame.
made it to the third book.
Yeah, they're fun, they're middle grade, they're fast. I remember thinking, trying to remember the climax and ending was kind of weird because it was like fun and lighthearted and quirky, and then it leads up to this like very abrupt tone change. Ooh. I don't know how to get into it without kind of a big spoiler, but the point is the tone did this very dramatic shift at the climax and then very abruptly resolved in a like kind of not a very consistent way, and some of her decision making wasn't very consistent. So I think I ended up giving it like 4 out of 5 stars. Like,
enjoyable but not perfect.
Yes.
So
and the sequels are fun. It's very like, they're fast, fun, and quirky when you just want something fast, fun, and quirky. So that was The Last Dragon Slayer. And there is, the best part about them is she does have like an animal companion called a Quark Beast.
Yes!
And the Quark Beast they describe as like something like a mix of Velociraptor, a dog, and like a whole bunch of knives. And it just like, it eats anything. It tends to like specific like metal things. And it looks terrifying.
Of course
and
it
the
does.
only sound it makes is it goes quark. And but like they're very loyal creatures, so when they attack
I should hope so if you have that many knives made of your body.
And they get into the lore of them more in the second book, and it turns out there can only be up to like 36 at a time, and each one has a mirror image of itself. Oh. And I will say Jasper Fforde is very, very bad at math. This has been my ongoing, my biggest pet peeve about these books is his math makes no sense. Like, he'll say on one page that there's, like, 7 minutes to do a thing, and then the next page they'll, like, land somewhere, and then they'll say, with 9 minutes to spare. And I'm like, but we had 7 minutes! Where did the extra 2 minutes go? And I don't... And it's, like, things like that.
Drive me insane.
And, like, basic multiplication is driving me insane. But anyway,
they're traditionally published, right?
I think so.
So
Across the pond.
decided... He
Someone,
and his editor,
yeah.
and his copy editor,
No one has caught this.
and his proofreader all decided that was fine.
And there have been at least 3 instances where I was like, the math doesn't make sense.
That's insane.
Which I only say because the Cork Beast math, I haven't totally thought through. It was this whole idea where, like, each one has a mirror image, and then that one will have a mirror image, and then somehow the number of reflections adds up to 36. So there are 36 Cork. There can be up to 36, and they split. Is how they reproduce. They kind of, like, do this weird mitosis thing, except when they split, they become reflections. And if they're together for too long, nuclear explosion.
What?
So as soon as they split, they have to go
Run
dive
away!
in. Well, they like to hang out because they're, like, lonely creatures
Yeah.
by design, so they don't want to separate. So, like, the beast handler people have to, like, dive in and take one of them away.
Oh, that's so
I know, it's a very
sad.
sad thing.
Oh,
Anyway, animal companions, yay!
made of knives.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, so you win that one.
Hell yeah, I do. Oh, okay.
Oh no.
You read yours.
Recognize Fascism, edited
Okay.
by Crystal Huff.
Which we have talked about in the past.
Yes, and I think that's in my pile somewhere too.
This one for you is Handbook for a Post-Row America
Ooh.
by Robin Marty.
So that was, I listened to the audiobook on that one, and I will say that it's not a good one to audiobook.
Oh, good.
Just
I
because
say because I don't own the audiobook,
Right.
but I do own the paperback.
it's nice as a resource. It's very much functions as a handbook resource, like something to refer to.
Jinx.
So it's a lot of, like, phone numbers and
Oh.
websites. And whoever did the
Interesting.
audiobook went ahead and just read out every
Oh
phone
my
number
God.
web page. And I was like, buddy, I'm listening to this in the car. I'm not going to write these down. And if I need to refer to them again, I'm just going to go get a hard copy. But otherwise, it was an excellent resource, covered.
So if you're
pretty much
hard of
what it says on the
hearing,
tin.
definitely get the
Yes.
audiobook.
Yeah,
you will
yeah,
have
yeah.
every number,
Yes.
assuming they haven't changed.
So that's the other thing, is it's definitely one of those things where they keep coming up with, I guess, the updated, or at least once they've come out with a...
Yeah, I think I've
Updated
got
one.
an updated one.
But it is definitely, like, the type of thing, and especially resources in that sphere are not going to be super permanent.
Right.
But otherwise, it's pretty much what it says on the tin. So
Okay.
it's a good thing
Well-
to have. A good resource.
You've read both.
I mean, I enjoyed Recognize Fascism more, but that's more valuable on a day-to-day kind of thing, so I honestly don't know how
We
to judge
call it
this
a tie?
one. Yeah, that
Okay.
works for me.
Ties go over here.
Pew.
What do you got?
Scales and Sensibility by Stephanie Burgess, which we've talked about before.
I'm going to butcher this person's
Oh.
name.
I got this.
Okay,
This is Manga Gene's Basic Japanese Through Comics, which is basically a Japanese language learning.
Yeah.
Not
Through
a
comics.
textbook, but yeah. But it's actually one of the best language learning resources I've ever seen because... So, Japan has this very thriving manga and magazine, like, business. Like, a lot of their literature is published as manga.
Yeah.
And so what they did for this language learning guide is they have 1 to 3 panels from different published comics, like popular
Oh.
comics. So they pick, like, a language topic, like going over, like, subject markers, or like they'll go over, like, idioms, and they pick instances where those idioms are used in comics. So you get
That's
to
cool.
see how it's actually, like, and since they're comics, you see, like,
the action and
Yes.
the caption.
Exactly.
That's very cool.
And then they have the direct translation in the Japanese scripts. So the kanji and the hiragana and whatnot and the katakana. And then they have like the direct English translation, like if you translated it word for word.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then they have the like how they would translate it as like in English,
Right.
like if they were actually translating it. And then
the spirit of the word, of the phrase.
And then each one has like notes about like why they would translate it that way.
Good Lord.
Like
This
it's
is really
in depth.
Wow.
And are really cool. And I think I only took off a star for this one. They have 2 volumes on them. I wish they had a lot more. But I probably would go ahead and buy it because it was just such a good resource and just really awesome. And you pick up a lot of Japan has a lot of these politeness levels. That was the other thing. They have politeness levels. So there are like often multiple ways to say the same thing, but depending on how you say it, it like indicates like status, like relative status, and like whether you're looking down on someone or whether you respect someone or whether like they're at a much higher level than you. So there's all the social nuance. So they label everything with politeness levels.
That's so clever.
So clever and so good. And I was so impressed by it. And the only reason I knocked off a star in the end was because there was one comic they chose near the end that was like, that involved AIDS. And I was like, you didn't? And it wasn't like awful, but also it was enough to be uncomfortable. And I was like,
Why? AIDS?
you could have picked anything to go here. Why did you pick this?
Mistakes were made.
Mistakes were made.
God.
But other than that, it was a very... in terms of a language learning resource.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my goodness.
I can't even... Oh, Scales and Sensibility.
Scales and Sensibility.
You own a copy now, right? Oh, we're just going to throw that. Okay.
Yeah, you win.
Okay.
If only just because of that one. If they hadn't included one panel,
Then
I might
they
have
would have won this round.
But how could a cat-sized dragon not win?
Yes. We have talked about this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to skim over that one. But you own your own copy now, right?
Correct.
Because we went to the grand opening of San Diego's latest bookshop. Called
Meet Cute!
Meet Cute. It's in North Park.
Yes. Speaking of decisions that were made, I made some expensive decisions.
So they had a grand opening on a Saturday, and it was packed. And it was so hot and crowded. But then you went outside to get air, and it was worse.
Yep. It was one of those. It was like one of the last.
And I
days
have
of summer.
literally never seen books fly off shelves so fast before. You couldn't. People were trying to prop up displays, and
we were trying.
yeah,
to
like
prop up
but also like people,
Yeah.
other customers in there, because you'd grab a book, you'd grab another book, you'd come back, the pile would be gone. It was incredible how fast they sold out of everything.
Yeah.
And then later online, they said they'd sold, was it 685?
Yeah, and then Laura dragged me through our text thread.
Laura, our number one fan, my number one fan. Apparently, Gabi bought 1.5% of all books sold that day.
Just rude to point out.
I still cannot. I mean, you did some damage. But like,
I went in planning to spend money.
and I went in being like, okay, it's a grand opening. You have to get a couple. I only bought 2 books. I was so proud of myself.
As soon as I walked in, you handed me like 3.
I think I handed you 5.
You were very ready for me to spend money
Because
too.
there were all these books that I have as ebooks that I've read and enjoyed, and then they were there in paperback.
I know, so that was the really exciting thing
Including
about
Scales
it.
and Sensibility.
They had a whole bunch of things I'd only seen as ebooks, and I was like,
yeah.
and I mean, romance books are just so
easy to read.
so easy to read. Like, you knew immediately where I was going with that. It's just soothing and fun and just, I don't know why I don't read them more. I don't.
Well, you know this. I spent most of the last month laid up and sort of unstable mental health, and all I could do was keep reading mediocre paranormal romances.
That's what they're there for.
And at the end of every one, I'd be like, am I going to read the next one? Why will I read the next one? I will. But why?
And that's why.
Well, I didn't get all the way through the series because
Oh.
the couple changed every book, right? And I hated the first couple so very much.
Oh no.
And
How'd you get past the first one?
I don't know. Like, I keep saying, like, I don't know why I kept reading. I don't know why I kept reading.
Oh no.
But, like, they did improve after the first one. That's why I kept reading. But I hated the first couple so very much. And then on book
What'd you hate about them?
5,
I guess
that
maybe
is
you wanted-
for a whole
Okay.
bonus episode.
I was gonna say these are the ones you wanted to do a bonus.
where I have
This is your Green Creek.
yeah, my Green Creek equivalent. These are the Elder Races books by Thea Harrison.
And one day.
And it's either book 5 or book 6 goes back to that original couple. And so I was like, okay,
nope.
cutting the cord. I'm done.
Amazing. Did you consider just skipping to the next one?
Yes. Because there was one not main character who got her own book at one point. Mm-hmm. This really just smart-ass, shitty human being of a harpy. Like, I kind of want to see how that works out. But, like, but it sounds like there's all this, like, world building and stuff and, like, global stuff that happens.
So you might miss some.
So
content.
I just quit. I thought, I have so many other freebie books on my e-reader.
I don't know if I could get 5 books into a series and then quit. That would be hard.
5 books and 4 novellas.
All right.
So much of this. Oh my god, I was
You've invested so much.
more. I mean, like, I was pretty out of it. So, like, I didn't lose that much time.
Right. The time you lost was not high quality time.
And, like, even after that, we'd be texting with Laura, and I'd be like, you guys, I can't trust my judgment. I cannot trust my taste right now. I'm reading books I would never actually make it through otherwise.
There's some fun to that. Better than just hating everything.
Yes. But if I'd been, like, in my right mind, I probably would have DNF'd.
Right.
The first one. And moved on with my life.
Right.
Anyway.
And instead, 5 books and 4 novellas.
And you know what? They had that first one with a couple I hated at Meet Cute. And I remember pointing at it and be like, hey, I'm in the middle of that one. And you were too far away, and no one else acknowledged that I'd said that, and I'm really glad they didn't. That saved someone some heartache.
Also, I realized you missed this because you were facing me, but his little paw went boop, it twitched. Oh, there we go. Yep. Twitch. Oh, he's awake now. Hey, buddy.
We have my little demon. My adorable little demon. I'll put his picture in the show notes.
Yay!
He's sleepy. He misbehaved at class all day. So anyway, skills
right,
and sensibility.
yes.
We talked about that though, right?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Absolutely. Very excited. Can't wait. I guess she's
Yeah,
gonna
because
write
they
more.
have the paperback now.
Yes.
Apparently that one started as like a Patreon installment,
Oh, okay.
which I did not realize. So I think the cover is very silly, but you'll enjoy the story.
Sure.
Next round.
Erp and Chandra by C.P. Ryder.
Erp and Chandra by C.P. Ryder. Okay, and you got Ace. What asexuality reveals about desire, secrecy, sorcery, society, and the meaning of sex by Angela Chen. I knew it wasn't sorcery, but that's what it looks like.
That would have been a very different book. Amazing. That was another non-fic audiobook read about asexuality. Obviously, it was very good.
Was
very,
it?
very good. Yeah, it contextualized a lot of things. Like there was a whole chapter on the intersectionality with disability, on the intersectionality with race, on like how
Does that have like a dark blue cover?
it's like purple and gold, like the ace colors.
Okay. Oh, that's clever.
And so she talks a lot about diving into a lot of the assumptions that go into heteronormity, not heteronormativity, but she has a word for basically the opposite of asexuality as normativity.
Allosexuality?
Like, I guess sort of allonormativity, but I don't think that's what she called it. But that's the idea, is
Right.
like this default we have.
That
like,
is the opposite of asexuality.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like how a lot of the assumptions that go in that are like so society and culturally based, and there are a lot of things that she mentioned even as an ace person that I had never like thought about or
that's
questioned before.
Fascinating.
And I was like, this is like so obvious and right in your face, and we all just take it completely for granted. And
That's
it was
amazing.
so, yes, and I just like never read a book on it before, and it was, I didn't know how special it would be to read something that resonated so much with me and my experiences. Because it's one thing to like identify as something, and another to like actually read a whole book about it and like feel it so confirmed and like,
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Gabi.
It broke me a little.
Okay, you win.
My God. I guess you've talked about CP Writer before. Is this from
Yes.
that series?
This is, yeah, CP Writer is a local San Diego author.
Local San Diego.
Who writes these sort of urban fantasy books that aren't like urban.
Mm-hmm.
It's a desert truck stop town in the middle of Imperial Valley or whatever.
Right.
And so Earp and Chandra is not a spin-off novel, but a sort of like, and this is what these two characters were doing. So it was good. And I read the books that came before it, and then there was only the Kindle edition, and I don't have a Kindle, so I found this author on Facebook, and I was like, will you please just make a paperback?
Anything.
Please. And she did! So now you can buy Earp and Chandra in paperback online at all your favorite retailers.
And not Amazon. Well,
I think you
could get it on
could.
Amazon, but you don't.
If you really feel like it. But yeah, you still win.
Yay! Oh, hi. We're a little upside down.
A little bit upside down. There we go.
You're gonna be famous.
Upside down. I love you too.
You're gonna help us get millions of followers.
Okay, next round.
So we just had a lot to say, and
We're not even done saying it.
No. So depending on how we decide to split this up after the fact,
We're looking at probably 3, maybe 4.
for the whole thing,
For all of our Mysterious Galaxy thing.
we made it to the halfway point tonight, and now we want a nap. So
We're gonna go nap in front of the fireplace. We're gonna light a candle, and there's gonna be blankets and books.
it's gonna be perfect. But that does mean
We are splitting this episode into multiple parts.
so. For this, the first part of the first half. Here's
first
hoping
quarter.
the first quarter or third, depending on things.
Vibes.
So here's hoping
That you have your very own annual Throwdown, Showdown, one-on-one PvP
who's gonna win
against someone.
your bestie.
Yes.
This has been another episode of Infinite TBR. You can find us on our Twitter at Infinite TBR.
And we are individually on Twitter as @WhatSmackSaid and @Gabalodon, which is like Megalodon, but Gab in the front of it. And you can find all our show notes at InfiniteTBR.com. If you have book recommendations for us or questions you want answered during the podcast, feel free to email us at itbrshelf@gmail.com.